Okay, this is the third time I'm trying to record this without your dad's interference. But he does give good advice. Now he's trying not to look. So I'm going to tell the wide-mouthed frog joke for my children. There was a wide-mouthed frog and she was curious about the world. So she started hopping around and wanted to ask other animals what they fed their babies. She was hopping around and she ran into a cow. And she went up to the cow and she said, "Hey, Mrs. Cow, will you feed your babies?" And the cow looked at her and said, "Well, I feed my babies milk." And the wide-mouthed frog said, "Oh, okay, thank you." Then she went hopping around some more and she ran into a squirrel. And she went up and said, "Hey, Mrs. Squirrel, what do you feed your babies?" And Mrs. Squirrel looked at her and said, "Well, I feed my babies nuts and seeds and stuff." And she said, the wide-mouthed frog said, "Okay, thank you." Then she went hopping around again and she hopped closer to the water and she saw an alligator and she went up to the alligator and she said, "Hey, Mrs. Alligator, will you feed your babies?" And Mrs. Alligator looked at her and showed all her teeth, said, "Well, I feed my babies wide-mouthed frogs." And wide-mouthed frog went, "Oh, really?"